It's pretty grim. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me again. I'm quite excited about this one because in these series of videos we'll be tackling the patio and fully replacing it. So hopefully you'll enjoy and find the process, and it will help you in the future if you're planning on doing the same. In this particular video though, we are just going to be removing and prepping the area ready for the sub base. So as you can see, we have some concrete slabs. These are 450 mils, so 45 centimeters by 45 centimeters, which we need to uplift ready to put the hardcore down. But we've also got to amend this manhole, so as you can see I've bought a new recessed manhole cover to go as well. So as you can see, I've been quite fortunate. These ones are coming up quite easy because they're not cemented in, they're just laid on top sand and a bit of soil. So I do recommend, if yours are concreted in, you're probably going to need some kind of either sledgehammer or impact driver to really get these up, but I'm quite fortunate they're coming up quite easy. Get these ones uplifted, then we'll level out the sand, so we can put our sub base directly on top, and that should make it a lot easier to get leveled out. So we'll go from there. As you can see, we've now removed all the slabs. I'm not going to remove that section yet because it's quite a large drop, so I'll wait. But what I'm going to do now is start leveling out what is here, ready for this sub base to go on top, and hopefully the sub base should bring us up to this level. And then what I'll have to start doing is channeling out this area ready for the sleepers to go in. I'll have to put the bed in, so a concrete sub base, sleepers on top so it gets good drainage, and then the slabs, the patio slabs go on top. So we'll just get it leveled out now, and I think I'll leave it for today. A sandstone They are called Candela, I believe, Candela 600 by 600, and I've now got to get them all 50 into the garden. Got to carry them by hand as they won't fit through there, and I don't have a lift to do so, so bear with me and let's get it done. Welcome back. So we are continuing on with the patio. Today what we're doing is we're going to be prepping the sleepers, the area for the sleepers, because we've got the MOT1 arriving tomorrow. So what we're actually going to be doing is digging out the front of where the patio is going to end in order to install the sleepers for the new patio to lay on top, and that's going to be our finish. And then we're going to be using the sleepers and also to create the steps. So the sleepers are going to be for the steps as well, with the patios to go on top. So this is the area that we're going to be digging out, and these are the tools that we're going to be using. As I don't have a square, I'm going to be using a slab to get my level and just get our trench filled, and then we'll continue to level out this area ready for our sub base tomorrow. If you find any of these videos useful, please consider subscribing. So we've now dug, we're probably about 2 centimeters below the line where we actually want the sleepers to sit. So I could just fill in some gaps, level it up, and then that should take us just to the brick line, which is another 2 centimeters up. Now always remember, when you're laying the patio or any external work, it needs to be 150 mil from the damp proof course. So this back area is actually an extension, and it's on a slope anyway, so our damp proof course is there, as you can see, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brick levels higher than where our sleepers are actually going. And if you're installing one and you're concerned about the level being too high, then I would recommend probably digging down deeper and then putting your patio area in, but I'm not a professional, so number one thing I recommend is speak to a professional. The MOT1 has arrived, but they couldn't get it down the back, so I've now got to shovel all of this to the house. So hopefully it shouldn't take too long. It's pretty dry, which is good, so that'll save on weight. So get the wheelbarrow and crack on. What we're going to do now is start to bed the sleepers in, ready to compact down the hardcore. So we've now got the mortar base, needs leveling out, but before we do that we're going to cement these in. So we'll have a slight gradient from the back of the property to the front, so our drainage will just continue straight down. And then there's about 2 inches at the minute, which we will get down to about 1 inch, which will give us enough space for the concrete base and also the slabs. Also, if you're wondering what ways best to use to stabilize your sleepers, no matter what you're doing, if you're doing raised flower beds or using them as a support, I do recommend using a sub base like hardcore or concrete, because what that does is that allows you to get a good drainage underneath and expand the life of your timbers. If you're using old hardwood oak, fantastic, but a lot of modern day sleepers are usually softwood, but they are treated. You can get these as well. These are galvanized steel anchors which you hammer into the ground and then mount your sleepers to, and then concrete on top. So what we'll do, we'll get our mix complete. So what we'll be doing is 1 part cement to 3 parts sand, and then we'll be putting 4 patches on the bottom to secure that in place, and then packing it around with hardcore again. set our first sleeper. What we're going to do is continue on with that there, but now we're just backfilling with subbase. We want to put as much subbase up against it so it's got good drainage, just to give it a bit more longevity. So we'll backfill it up and then we can start leveling out the ground. You can see the grass is so unlevel, it slowly declines, so the timbers are straight and then it's like, oh, there's the bottom. So we will be re-leveling the lawn, getting it all nice and level and even again. So, but for now, we just to start backfilling it and leveling it out. The sleeper is going to be underneath the slab, so it's going to be pretty well secured in. But what I'm going to do as well is just install a L bracket bracing, which will sit, sorry, apologies for the lighting, just in the corner there, just to hold it and support it from the back side. And then while I'm compacting, I've got these rods which I'm going to press in and hammer in from the outside, so we know that that is nice and secure and that is not going anywhere while we're compacting it, because while we're compacting we don't want it to start pushing out, because we've already set it in place ready to use. So we'll get prepped and we'll get compacting. What I'm a little bit concerned is that have I got enough MOT, and I don't think I have. If I have, it's just. So what I'm going to do to help do this level, I'm actually going to use some of the bricks from the old step. I'm going to break those down to help compact and start filling out the areas. It's always best to do that in the first layer if you are going to do that. It's perfectly fine just to use it as waste. Got to get a sledgehammer, break them down, and then just use them in this area to help build up your level. So I'm going to do that before I do my first layer of compacting, just to help give us a nice bit of height as we move on to the next stage. So before we start compacting this, what I'm going to do is put some finer grains of MOT1 on top to help fill it out and just get a better, smoother process when compacting down. And I've got some finer bits of gravel which we're getting rid of anyway, so I'm just going to use that to help fill it out, get rid of some of that finer bits of these bricks. And then what we'll do is we'll then get the compactor out and start compacting it down. I'll do a separate video on how to use the compactor, and then you can see the process as well of compacting in both videos, but that one will show you how to actually use it. Right, so we've gone over that a good few times. So that's the first level done. Now we need to do the second course. What I'm going to do is, because I've got some slate stones left over as well, I'm going to use those to help build up the level, because we still got quite a bit of way to go. So we'll build up level a bit more, and then we'll do a mix 50-50 of the slate and the hardcore, the MOT one. That should give us a nice good height. So in this corner here, we've got a bit of a void where it meets the fence. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly do a quick sand cement water mix just to fill that in. So we've got a nice solid stable. It's not going to dry until tomorrow, but I'll compact the area as much as I can around there, put that bit on top, and then just leave that area to let it do its thing. Okay, so I've just bedded this one in. What I've done is I put 2 hooks on the outside and then one on the inside to hold it in place while the cement dries, so I can continue compacting. I don't honestly think I've got enough, which is quite frustrating, but as long as I can get the bottom level done, is raised as high as possible. We've got a bit of MOT1 left, so we'll just top it up as high as we can, see where it gets us. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video then please consider hitting the subscribe button, drop me a like and also a comment as well. This is the old manhole cover. This is going to be rendered redundant, so we won't need that section anymore. And this is the new one, 2-piece section. This is a plastic frame, which is what gets bedded in, and then this is the recess manhole, which is the section that can be pulled out, and this is what we will bury our slabs in. So we'll set this aside for now. Then we will get the plastic frame bedded in once we've cleared this area. So this is the frame, manhole cover. As you can see, we just got wastewater, so we don't want anything blocking that, and we don't want to drop anything down there because I don't want to be fishing it out. So just let's set the new frame in, get our levels, and then we can start sand cement concreting it in. Our framing, and we've just double checked that the levels are nice. We've got a slight slope off to that corner, and a slight slope down towards that corner, so this is our highest point. So now that we're happy that it's in place and sits in line with everything else, we can now start to cement and bed this in. So we'll get our cement levels done and start packing it out and filling underneath, so we've got a nice steady firm base. So here we're using a 3-to-1 mix, 3 parts sand, 1 part cement. Because we're using post concrete as well, it actually looks a lot darker than your normal concrete. There is a small amount of concrete in this, but we're doing quite a wet mix to make sure that it sticks nice and firm. Okay, so hopefully you can see that now. So what I've done is I've leveled it off and then infilled the inside of the frame in all the way around. Use partly postcrete and general builders cement. so hopefully that should set pretty quickly, and then as it starts to dry we can start tidying it up a bit, and then we can do the outer of the frame just to hold it nice and in place. It's set and level, so we've based it off the front. It's got the 2 centimeter angle drop that we have and continues to the back, so just gonna let that set. While that's setting, I'm gonna start doing the slabs. Not gonna touch anything around this area for at least 48 hours. Make sure that's set nice and hard, because that is basically, we don't want that to drop. If it drops, then that messes up the whole patio area. So confident that we've done a good mix. We've done a 3-to-1, so it's got a bit of extra stability. So now we're going to start doing our patio from the front to the back. Starting in this corner, making sure that we've got our square. I did square it off before I started it, and I put a steel brace in place to hold it in, so it should still remain straight after the compacting. We've also got some slurry as well, so we're going to get the slurry prepped. Because we're using very porous tiles, we want to make sure that we get a good bond and that they don't start bleeding through basically. Right, so just checking the levels. So I've checked the first level, checked the second level, and we're all good. So we want this level to be slightly raised. We don't want it to be bang on central. We want it just touching the left hand bar. That shows that we've got a 2 centimeter slope going on, which is what we want continuous all the way up to the wall, so that water doesn't collect. So just making sure that all the level is around about the same. So I'm just going to continue on up there as well, make sure that we've got exactly the same process going on, and that is building up to the height that we need it. So I'm just going to fill in where it is a bit shallow, and then we'll give it another compact again. A lot of times people get this a bit backwards, but the widest side of the slab needs to be at the top, so the slope goes down inwards. And also, because they vary in size as well, and we've got a front facing, so this section is going to be visible. You want to make sure that you get not only the smoothest ones cut, but also that they're roughly the same thickness as well, just to give it a bit of design. Well, not design, but make sure it looks better. You don't want one that's at 1.5 mil thickness and then one at 2.8. It's just not going to look right, and it's not going to sit right either. So what you're seeing here is wrong, and there's going to be a lot of builders or people in the trade who might see this video and think, what on earth is going on? And now that I'm looking back at this video a number of years later, I'm mortified. But effectively, this mix is far too dry, so there should have been more cement in it, and it should be much more wetter. You want like a porridge type mix, like a thick oat porridge mix, but here, as you can see, way too dry. So essentially I end up having to redo the first 3 slabs because I realized it just wasn't right. And this is actually the first cementing job that I'd ever done, so I've done this way before. I did the outbuilding, things like that, but yeah, it was completely wrong, so I had to do it, and it worked out fine in the end. Luckily I was able to break down this mixture and redo it without causing too much of an issue, so we're all good in the end. But if you're seeing this, do it much wetter, bit more cement. You want more of a 3 to 3:1 or 3:2 mix, so 3 parts sand, 2 or 1 part cement, but I used about 1.5 in the end, just to make sure I got a good bond. And then I used the slurry, which you can see in that orange bucket in front of you. And if you're enjoying these types of videos, please consider liking and also subscribing. What I aim to do is kind of help other DIYers on the journeys, and also point out mistakes and errors that I make to prevent other people from making these same mistakes. Right guys, so we are now going to cut the slabs to go in these corners, and what I'm going to do is show you how to cut almost a semicircle to cut around this pipe section here. So we'll get our measurements, and then I'll show you how to do it with a straight blade. The gaps that we've got are about 1.5 centimeters, so you usually want between 10mm and 20mm, so we've got about 15mm. So we want a 15mm gap here. But we also want this to be right up against the wall, because this is where it meets this timber here, so take that into consideration. So we need to cut 22cm slabs to slot into those sections there. So we want to cut around here, so we're going to line it up with our first slab so we can get our levels in. Just going to draw a quick line, doesn't have to be tidy, just so we know where the pipe is. And that's the area we're looking for. Right, so the pipe comes out 11 centimeters. So this is our line here, and the center point of the pipe is here. So this is where we're going to start curving it around. So just draw a rough curve around. Obviously we're doing it in pencil. Right, so we know where we need to cut. So I'm going to cut a couple of mil wider than this gap here, so it's not too tight against the pipe. So I'll probably add about 2mm on there. And then what we're going to do is we're basically going to keep cutting up, and then we're going to keep cutting straight down the middle until we get to our curved point, and then we can break off the slab here, and that should give us our curve, he says. Let's give it a try. Yeah, pretty happy with that. That's cool. all done, so we can start cementing these bits in. Didn't film this bit, apologies, but it's pretty much in continuations with everything else. But what we're doing today is actually cutting the slabs ready to fit around and in the recessed manhole. So now we're going to begin measuring the slab, and in order to do this, what I've done is I've placed the slab against the pre-laid slabs from the outer edge, as you can see, to get the gap that we want. And what this does is this allows us to identify where we need to cut the slab above the manhole. Obviously at this point you can see the slab is at an angle, so we need to account for any additional millimeters that will need to be cut out for. So hopefully we'll be able to get that done, but in order for me to get the right measurement gaps, what I'm using is a tool that allows us to compress the grout, and this gives me a rough idea of the measurement gaps that we need. Right, okay, so as I've got an Evolution circular saw, I've also got an Evolution diamond cut blade. I've used this before on some other jobs, not quite as tedious as this one. There's some other tiles that I had internally, some floor tiles, but this is the disc. It worked really well on my last job, so I'm really hoping it does the same job here. But you can sort of see in the blade little diamond sections. You probably won't pick it up on the camera, but we'll give it a try, see how we get on. I'm going to damp the slab, so I'm literally just going to pour some water on it. Hopefully that will help in dampening the dust as well, so we don't have dust flying everywhere. Don't want to start annoying the neighbours, you know how we do. So right, for this job I am wearing a mask and goggles. Might be a lot of dust, and I'm also wearing gloves as well. And in today's video anyway, we are going to be building our step for our patio area. Now what we're going to do is start getting our measurements done, and then we're going to start cutting our timbers, etc., because this step is going to be made with sleepers with a sandstone top as well. So the main structure will be the sleepers on the outskirts, then we'll fill it, then we'll put the sandstone on top. Let's go. We'll cut it from 200 in width to 100, so we only need half, so it ends up like this in size. As you can see, cut in half, because we only need it's only going to be the front of the sleeper showing, and then the rest is going to be built up of a more harder substrate. Right, okay, so we've cut this down, and as you can see, squared off nicely there. Then I'm just going to double check it and square it off in this corner here. I've cut a small section out here because the step was just too wide at the bottom, which I didn't want, so I just pushed it in a bit tighter. And then what we'll do is we'll pin these two together here, and then we'll put a bed of cement underneath, probably about 1 centimetre in height, and we can then set that on. Once it's set on, we can then bolt it to the wall, bolt it to the concrete section there, and then start filling it, ready for the top slab. So this is now perfectly set. What I've done is I've just taken a slight noggin out of this, just so the end of it is flush. You're not going to see any of this because the the slab is going to be directly on top. Obviously, if you were setting the slabs internally, you would have to keep it a lot neater, and in all honesty, I would recommend just not cutting the sleeper at all and using a full size. But as we are bedding it in, a lot of it is going to be hidden from the elements, but it's still a good size to keep it structurally sound for a good period of time. Right, so we filled it with broken down rubble. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a post-concrete mix to really start leveling it out and getting filled up now. So we're just going to make sure that it's nice and level, nothing protrudes, and then we will get our postcrete and just start filling it. See, this slab here is going to be going over the waste drainage system. Now what we're actually going to be doing is lifting up the waste drainage and turning it from a circular to a square waste system, which is going to be cut perfectly into this slab and set at a high level. Then we're going to be replacing this waste pipe which goes from our kitchen sink. This serves the washing machine dishwasher, and that is going to have a new pipe going straight into the main section, so these two are going to be connected together going straight down. We've got quite a bit of room to play with, so we don't have to get it exact in position. As long as we get the size of the manhole right here, then we should be pretty good to go. So now we've got all of our sections cut, we can now start cementing the bottom section in, finally. The manhole section just like that, so nice and tidy. I think that's the best method. Obviously I'm going to move that pipe so it goes straight down in, and then this pipe as well is going to be changed completely to go straight down into there. I think that's a nice look, so we'll go for that and we'll continue on, and hopefully it comes out all right. Main part today is I've now cut the timbers for the next step up. So what I'm going to be doing is bracing these together. I've got some L brackets. We're going to be using those to connect the timbers together at the back and then connect it to the wall. Once we've done that, then we can start filling it. Obviously before we connect it to the wall, we are going to put a bed of cement underneath to stabilize it and give it a bit of structure and make sure that it's nice and even all the way across. So what I'll do is I'll brace the two timber sections together, move that out of the way, put our bed of cement, and then we can put it together and then anchor it to the wall. Then we can fill it once the bed of cement is on there. So really happy with the way the first step has come out. Also a big addition as well is what we're doing on this step. As we're creeping higher towards the damp proof course, although it's just a step area, you're normally okay, but what I'm going to do is put a DPM sheet, so a damp proof membrane sheet, against the wall, which is going to lip underneath. So if we do get splashback, it's not going to drain into the wall, it will drain away. If you enjoy these videos or find them helpful, please go ahead and smash that like button and that subscribe button. It would help me out massively. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, so far so good. Really happy. This video is we're going to do the pointing. So the system that we're using is the Silka Fast Fix. This is a 14 kg bag. Apparently it covers up to 20 square meters, but I guess that depends on the depth and the size of your patio area. Now this was a really good system. I went for the grey option, and you can actually pick this up from most stores like B&Q, Wix, Homebase. I believe Homebase, but definitely B&Q and Wix anyway. But in this video, pretty straightforward. We're just going to compact the system down. It's got instructions on the back and also inside as well. I used a sort of like a brick pointing pen, but I actually found that was good for the initial sort of compression, and then just using my hands to sort of compact it down, as that just kept pushing it all back out again. So just kind of use your hands. You want a hose just to keep the area wet while doing this, unless you're doing it in the rain, and then it takes about 24 to 48 hours to dry after that. But if you find these videos helpful or entertaining in any way, then please do hit that subscribe button and also that like button. I would really appreciate it. As soon as you open the bag, you have to use it within an hour. If not, you have to leave it to soak in water, and then it will last up to a month after that, before it's done. So we'll do it bag per bag and try and get it all done today if possible. The substance on the slabs, but hopefully once it dries up it can just be swept off. But I've also pointed along the front in there, and then also in the steps as well, so it's just got a nice finish to it and prevents it from seeping behind the timbers and just gives it a bit of longevity. So we'll see how we get on, but it is able to be applied in the wet or in the dry. Obviously probably better in the dry. But I just want to get it done now, and it is. So really happy with the present look. It really is starting to look great and come along. So next process is this path. Yeah, so far so good. Really happy with it. So wait and see what the process is like. Okay guys, so it's now the following day. It's probably been about maybe about 18 hours since we installed the pointing. So what I'm now going to do, I've just checked it seems to be drying quite well, so I'm now just going to brush off the top of the slabs and just get rid of the excess.